Welcome graduates, faculty, and friends to the virtual commencements for the Texas Health Sciences Center El Paso, Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing Fall of 2020. As Assistant Dean and Assistant Professor for the Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing, it is my pleasure to introduce the platform party. Dr. Tracy Lopez, Assistant Dean and Assistant Professor for the Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing. Dr. Stephanie Woods, Dean and Professor for the Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing. Dr. Woods is also the keynote speaker for today's ceremony. While not physically present, the faculty for the Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing are participating virtually with us today. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for today's ceremony and the Dean for the Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing. Dr. Woods joined the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center El Paso Gail Greet Hunt School of Nursing as the Dean and Professor in July of 2018, after serving as Associate Dean for the Houston J. and Florence A. Doswell College of Nursing at Texas Women's University, Dallas, Texas for 9 years. Dr. Woods has held executive roles in healthcare and higher education in San Antonio and Dallas, Texas, as well as interim roles in New Mexico. She also served on the faculty of the University of Texas Health Sciences Center San Antonio and the University of the Incarnate Word. She holds a bachelor's degree from Texas Women's University, a master's degree from the University of Texas Health Sciences Center at San Antonio, and a doctorate degree from the University of Texas in Austin. She began her professional career in critical care with a specialty in cardiac nursing. Dr. Woods has over 35 years of experience in nursing. She brings a passion for developing clinical leaders and has served on the Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas Board, the Board Manager for the Parkland Health and Hospital System, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Council Foundation Board. It is my pleasure to introduce once again Dr. Stephanie Woods.
There is a famous Christmas story that takes place early in World War I. It was December 1914. And for the soldiers' morale, a ceasefire was declared for Christmas. French, German, and British soldiers laid down their weapons, left their trenches, and celebrated the day together. They sang carols, played football, exchanged souvenirs, and even worked together to bury the dead. The war was still going on, but for a time, the ceasefire allowed time for joy. Today, our community and our world is in the midst of a war, and just outside our doors, nursing and medical peers are waging a heroic battle against COVID-19. They are joined with their peers in every state and every country around the world. They have been in the trenches for months, and they are tired in their minds, bodies, and spirits. Right now, the enemy seems to be winning, but soon we will have a new weapon, a vaccine. We will eventually win this war, but for now, we are appropriately somber. We are restricted in what we can and cannot do. And in many ways, this does not feel like graduation or Christmas at all. But for today, and in this moment, we are here to celebrate you and your accomplishments. The war continues, but let's observe a ceasefire. It is time to carve out a little space and time for joy. And it is not disrespectful to find joy in the midst of suffering. Matter of fact, joy is essential to our well-being and our resilience during times of great stress. I do not think any of your professional colleagues would begrudge you some time today to celebrate this major accomplishment in your life. So whether it is quietly or exuberantly, say out loud, "I did it." I am well aware that this is not the graduation you hoped for. You were supposed to be here with all of your family members and friends raucously shouting, hooting, and hollering as you cross the stage to get your diploma. But even in this limited graduation ceremony, can you not find joy? Joy in the completion of your program, joy in the anticipation of financial stability, joy in living out your purpose each day of your career. Joy is not an external phenomenon. It is not impacted by our circumstances, and it can be found in any situation. It lives within us, waiting for that moment when we tap into it. So let's tap into joy for a few moments. Let's take a short stroll down memory lane back to when you began nursing school. You've applied to your undergraduate nursing program, and it felt like you would never get an answer back. And then suddenly, you received your offer of acceptance. You had made it. In that moment, your future opened up in front of you. Maybe you were the first person in your family to go to college or the first nurse in the family. And here the opportunity was yours. What joy. For our accelerated BSN students, you ordered your Texas Tech scrubs. Remember when they were still new and bright red? You showed up for student orientation where I shared an affirmation with you. Do you remember what it was? I was smart enough to get in this program, and I'm smart enough to get out of it. And now look at you, you're graduating. For our RN to BSN graduates, your journey was different. First, you completed your associate's degree and then came into the RN to BSN program. Some of you had nursing experience, and some of you had not yet taken your NCLEX. You learned to balance work, family, and studying in an online program. But no matter what path you took to achieve your BSN, here you are. You have your bachelor's degree from the Hunt School of Nursing at Texas Tech University, El Paso. Now, isn't that pure Red Raider joy? The faculty and I often discuss how shiny, bright, and new you look on that first day of orientation or on the first day of class. Then just a few days later, you're showing up in person or on camera in mismatched clothes, with bedhead and signs of sleep deprivation. But that's just the usual nursing school experience. Your nursing school experience has been anything but usual. You all have been tremendously impacted by COVID-19, and we have found our way through this pandemic together. We confronted a hard pivot to online classes, simulated clinical experiences, changes in clinical placements, and the stress of life in a pandemic. Many of our RN to BSN students were asked to work even more shifts than normal. You were essential in responding to the increase in hospitalizations and the spread of the virus across our community. I often tell people that the best thing I discovered during this time of the pandemic was the value of having virtual assemblies with the ABSN students. You have politely advanced your questions and concerns and worked with me to find solutions. And it has been my joy to work with you and to get to know you better. And I have found you to be courageous, flexible, and resilient. As we moved through the first 10 months of the pandemic, you were monitoring for the symptoms of COVID in yourself, your family members, your friends, and your peers. When you were exposed to someone with COVID, I agonized with you while you awaited the results of your test, and then rejoiced with you when it was negative. For those of you who experienced COVID, either through illness or loss of job, we worked with you to support you while you were ill and to find money if that was what you needed to keep you in school. Numerous donors stepped up to help nursing students who were hard hit by the pandemic and the economic collapse that was associated. What joy it was to find out that there were donors who wanted to help you. Our scholarships got bigger and we had more emergency funds to award. I have numerous emails from you and I will keep them always. Your words demonstrated such maturity and professionalism. Recently, a dean from some other school of nursing asked me if I was getting calls from parents who were anxious about their student nurses going into clinical sites during a time of COVID-19. My answer was simple: nope. You have been so mature. You have been so adult as you face this pandemic. And I am so proud that you acted on your own behalf to advocate, to ask your questions, and to allow us to respond to your fears. Yes, you ran out of money, and we found money for you. You thought it was the end of the journey, and then you pulled out that last test successfully and managed to pass the course. You lost your preceptor in transitions, and somehow we found you another place to put you, and you completed your hours. Think back on all the days you thought it was over, only to find out that someone somewhere was going to help you. Maybe it was a faculty member, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, or a nursing student peer who told you, yes, you can do this. Or to borrow the phrase credited to Dolores Huerta, co-leader with Cesar Chavez in the farm workers movement, si se pueda, si su pueda. Yes, you can. Yes, you did. Such joy comes when the goal has been obtained. Even more so when the goal was obtained while overcoming numerous barriers, and you are all overcomers. Now I must watch as you go into your first nursing job or continue on in your present job during a pandemic. You must be able to find joy as you wage war against COVID-19. Most assuredly, the work will be hard. Wednesday evening, I watched a new TV series called Nurses. I'll have to admit I had very low expectations, and they met all of them. 6 nurses with varying experiences were headed to their first day at the fictitious St. Mary's Hospital. They are met by a nursing manager, who was not at all welcoming. And in a matter of moments from their arrival, a mass casualty event occurs in the city, and all 6 nurses are thrust into various patient care situations without orientation and without a preceptor or guide. Numerous codes, attempts to find the previous owner of 2 severed fingers, helping a family member decide to donate the organs of their son, and delivering a baby ensued over 1 short hour. And as the nurses finish their first day of work, they walk outside to see that there is a blood donation event. Of course, they all stay and they all donate blood. Then a halo of golden light shines above their head. Cue the music and, okay, I'm making up that last part. Yes, days like this can happen, but perhaps the plot line was just a little bit too dramatic. And I wonder why the show's writers had not talked to more nurses who were caring for COVID patients right now. Now, wouldn't that have been a more contemporary view of nursing? You too will face much drama. We have done our best to prepare you, and you met us by doing all you could to prepare yourself. You will have preceptors to help you, but on any given day, it will be up to you to find the joy in the work. This is critical. Joyless work leads to burnout. I have a funny friend who often says she doesn't know how so many nurses got burned out because some of them were never lit up to begin with. But the nurses, physicians, and therapists that you will soon encounter have every right to be burned out. And they are not responsible for keeping your flame lit. You are. You must look for the ways in which you and others are making a difference and find the joy in that. Celebrate how your care made someone more comfortable or how your reassuring voice helped a family cope. Share your joy with others by thanking them for helping you transition into your first job and by complimenting them on the expertise that you are seeing in them. If you are joyful, it will be contagious, maybe even more contagious than COVID. Today, I want to send you out into your future with great joy. You leave with our blessings, and you will be a blessing to others. Years from now, patients and peers will speak respectfully and fondly of you. You will grow over your career, reaching new heights by achieving higher education, professional certifications, and through accepting challenging roles. You will look back at this time and remember how you became a nurse at just the time your city and world needed you. You will be celebrated in history as the greatest generation of nurses. So choose joy. Congratulations, Fall 2020 graduates. We now have a message from Chancellor Dr. Ted Mitchell, and he will be congratulating you as well on your graduation.
Well, graduates, I know that 2020 has been kind of a crazy year, Let me tell you, in spite of that, you've persevered. And today, you'll get a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from a phenomenal school at Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center in El Paso. You should be proud of this, not just for the accomplishments that you've made up until now, but you should be very proud of this for the work that you'll be able to do moving forward. This COVID-19 crisis has shown all of us how extremely important the degree that you're about to receive will become. So I want to say to each and every one of you, congratulations.
Let us proceed with introducing the Gail Grieve Hunt School of Nursing graduates for Fall 2020.
Brianna Jessamine Bachman, Victoria Marie Ball, Ashley Brianna Carrillo, Katarina Marie Carrillo, Cynthia Del Rio, Bridget Stephanie Delfin, Leigha A. Drennan, Desiree N. Enriquez, Samantha Rebecca Fabela, Claudia Nicole Felix, Vivian Forzam, Maribel Gaytan, Beja Elizabeth Greer, Benjamin Nathaniel Guerrero, Luis Mario Guerrero, Lindsay Kate Hendricks, Michelle Irene Hierro, Chelsea Renee Holder, Jason Alexander Jaramillo, Shari Joseph, Kelsey Carmen Livingston Placencia, Francisco Lopez, Yvette Carolina Lopez, Edith Louise Lujan, Priscilla Macias, MS, Mariana Belen Madrid, Kimary Marble, Laura Elena Marin Concio, J. Paul Martini, Jaron McKay, Brianna Priscilla Morales, Monica Elisa Morales, J. Fidel Moreno Arias, Georgia Naomi Moad, Jenny Moya, Athena Nicole Navarro, Marlene Guadalupe Negrete, Sarah Noor, Edgar Ojeda, Tiffany Louise Ostrowitzki, Lauren Marie Payan, Angelica Beneda Salas, Kayla Quinn, Jesus Santiago Rangel, Hunter Lee Reichenbach, Jennifer Marie Reyes, Jessica G. Reyes, Alyssa Ryan Rivera, Francine Rosales, Bianca M. Rueda, Lizette Salazar, Rogelio Saldana, Hannah Bang Sanchez, Mackenzie Dawn Sanders, Samantha Ray Saucedo, Lauren Schoening, Lisa Alexis Zuniga Swartz, Lacy Jo Sexton, Jason Allen Taylor, Brittany Thompson, Veronica Alicia Veliz, Jorge Alejandro Wernick, Andrea Diane Wright.
Meagan Lee Allen, Nora Baccarat Isadi, Shayla Martell Brown, Celeste Marie Carrillo, Pamela Michelle Chavez, Michael Cruz, Ashaunti Doyle, Lucero Gonzalez Rodriguez, Alejandro Mendoza, Kent Truck Wynn, Benjamin Ontiveros, Obioma Alexandra Mokwini, Tracy Lynette Perez, Sonia Raju, Monica Ramirez, Roman Lee Sambroman, Shayna Michelle Stewart, Betty Julia Stone, Valerie Alejandra Vasquez, Bala Michael Wambibi.
I would like to acknowledge, though this virtual ceremony may not have been the graduation you hoped for, and despite us being physically apart, I hope that we can unite in pride and joy in your accomplishments today. This concludes our virtual commencement ceremony, and we thank you all for attending. Blessings for your future.